Abdul Carter was the consensus number 1 overall prospect in the 2026 NFL draft class coming out of Penn State. Understandably, the Titans tried to find their quarterback of the future in Cam Ward, and the Jaguars pull off a blockbuster trade-up for two-way Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter next, but then the Giants ended up stopping the mini-slide, even if they didn't have an imminent lead on the edge defensively. If you ask the casual NFL fan, or simply look at traditional statistics, you might not think that Carter lived up to his draft billing, yet if you go to the advanced metrics or actually watch this film, there's a lot to get excited about going forward. What I want to do here is go through every single quarterback pressure he produced as a rookie, talk about the impressive parts, but also maybe a couple of areas of improvement, and just let you come up with your own picture of him. Before we get to the film though, I'll quickly present some numbers that not everybody has seen or might have access to. So most glaringly here, Carter was tied for 88th in the NFL with only 4 sacks as a rookie. However, he was tied for 13th in quarterback hits with 23, and tied for 12th with 66 QB pressures during the regular season. He's lower down in PFF's metrics, but tied for 5th in ESPN's pass rush win rate rankings with 21%. And then if you go to next gen stats, quick pressures, meaning under 2.5 seconds, the rookie actually led the league with 48 of those, while in terms of quick pressure rate, Denver's Nick Bonito finished number 1 with solid separation to the rest of the group, but then the next 3 names were all within 0.3% of each other, with Carter being 4th at 10.3%. If you filter NFL Pro by Abdul Carter's pressures, it spits out 72 clips, 6 of those either were wiped off by penalty or didn't get counted as such by Pro Football Focus, but I still included them here. Let's begin in week 1 at Washington. On this first clip, Carter's gonna get chipped by the running back next to his left tackle here. He's able to get inside of both with a high swim move, which does provide access to his chest to some degree, but he helps clean up the sack here. Next, Washington is in hurry-up mode with time running out at the end of the first half. We're going to get an intentional grounding call on the quarterback, where Carter is left unblocked off the offense's left side. He doesn't blindly shoot upfield against a dynamic runner at quarterback, but rather gets a hand up on his offbeat play, not officially a pressure in the end for him. Here the rookie standing up shaded to the right side of the center. From his perspective, not a very firm stance, but sets up this crossface club swim move where he initially jabs to the right and wins cleanly, although the ball comes out quickly out of Jaden Daniels' hand for this lead swing element here to the right. Now there's a lot more to discuss in week 2 at Dallas. You're going to see him off the offensive right side. These first 2 clips are basically the exact same, only the first one is from shotgun, and the second one at least includes a convincing run action, as Carter stays home on the backside here, with the tackle stepping away from him to sell the zone action, and he's gonna heat up Dak a little bit here as he tries to swing it out to this leak element to the right. Again, keeping contained here from this naked boot, rather than flattening out and chasing down the zone action. Carter quickly closes down that space for the quarterback and forces a sudden dump off to the tight end on another leak out from this split zone fake. Now Carter's going to be in a 3-point stance as a free technique here, or almost a 4-eye, on what's supposed to be a TT twist with these 2 interior guys. But Dallas is going to slide 4 guys over with the left tackle receiving chip help, so there's 0 space for the rookie to actually pull this off. Yet, check out the hustle here, the lateral agility, and how it helps Brian Burns collect the sack as he's kind of the last layer of the rush. Same spot, but this time he's actually in a 2-point stance, and he's going to be the setup man on this TE twist, so he's going to rush up the field, and Kayvon Thibodeau off the left edge is going to loop inside. Watch him attack the inside shoulder of the tackle here, force the guard to open up with him, which with the center slide in the opposite direction, gives Thibodeau a pretty clear lane here. Carter actually gets involved, but again isn't credited with even half a sack. Love this final snap from the Dallas game, up by 3 to start the second half, trying to take control of the game here on a 2nd and long. The rookie's lined up as a true stack backer and doesn't come down until the quarterback starts his cadence, before working this one-on-one with the center on an island, where he's going to try to hit him with a little crisscrossed in and out move. Can't win cleanly, but falls up with the rip move, goes underneath the blocker's reach to get a hit on Dak Prescott, affecting this throw over the middle and setting up Drew Phillips' interception. Now moving ahead to week 3 against Kansas City. On this first clip, he's going to be a quasi-spy, once again lined up on the 2nd level, or as an add-on rusher in this case, as he's going to locate a vacated rush lane, and the back releasing the opposite way allows him to kind of get downhill here as he sees the quarterback moving around. Carter does put some heat on Patrick Mahomes, but the secondary completely loses Juju Smith-Schuster, who ends up wide open sitting down between the hash and the numbers. Maybe a little rich to credit him here with the pressure, as it's more of a scrape exchange, or even more likely an actual blitz pair of the D-end slanting inside. Considering the opposite linebacker trails the back, releasing to Carter's side, and the rookie only ends up having one hand put on him by the left tackle, while Mahomes is slinging a tight end screen delayed the opposite direction. On his third one, Carter jumps inside late here, after walking around before the play starts, and really attacks the center with a bull rush, before scraping out wide as Mahomes tries to escape the pocket, forcing a throwaway as he drags down the quarterback, who tries to sell a non-existent horse collar tackle. Week 4 now against the Chargers, his breakout game I thought, although I should add some context here, as both the starting tackles were hurt for this matchup. This first play here is another one where Carter doesn't bite on the zone flow from the backside, but here there would be a fullback sifting back for him theoretically, yet being on the same side that messes up the angles I think, and number 51 feels comfortable dipping underneath this block, before bending back to erase the angle for Justin Herbert to actually roll outside, puts a hit on the quarterback and forces an errant throw towards the sideline. Here he's lined up in a more traditional rush 2-point stance I want to call it, with his feet staggered, where he's the beneficiary of a TE twist, so he's going to be the one looping inside this time, and check out the lateral twitch to get through the A-gap in one step basically, pulling the opposite arm over and forcing an intentional grounding call against Herbert, trying to flip the ball forwards. Same thing, only from a 3-point stand this time and off the opposite side, this time selling the rush up the field a little bit more against the right tackle, and yet again squeezing through for a hit on the quarterback, but this time Herbert is strong enough to fire the ball to his receiver, breaking out to the sideline. Flipping sides again, the rookie's short area quickness are just too much to handle for the left tackle here on the little up and under, where he's gonna sell that jab step to the outside paired with a little shoulder fake, and not allowing the blocker to get that post foot down firmly in time before once again putting some heat on the quarterback. Back to the offense's right side, he's the setup man on more of a delayed version of that, involving the linebacker behind it, who's gonna be looping wide, but it's Carter putting the heat on as he's getting straight upheld by the tackle and the guard here, as you can see, trying to slice through the B gap and forces the quick throw short of the sticks on third down. Beautiful spin move on this one to beat the left tackle, who ends up chasing him here, as it's perfectly timed with number 74 lunging into contact. Herbert hitches the opposite way, trying to drive the ball, but it ends up being a bad throw to the opposite sideline because he can't get enough on it with heat coming in on him. With how much Carter has abused those two guys on the inside, he forces number 74 to set conservatively here and not protect the high shoulder enough to handle the speed rush towards the end of the game, maybe paired with a little shoulder dip in this one. Once again wraps up the quarterback, who tries to somehow pin the ball onto the chest of the receiver, pivoting back to the outside, who can't secure the pass. And finally, 2-point stance, this time over the center, beats that dude like a drum with a club swim move, and his teammate Deontay Banks gets the PBU at the back end of it, just a dominant showing all around against the wounded Chargers O-line. That brings us to week 5 at New Orleans against the Saints, rushing over the left tackle on this first clip. In a false foot forward 2-point stance yet again, Carter tries to hit a little stutter into a chop rip. He misses the initial chop, but throws the strong ankles to corner his rush through the contact anyway, and at least bumps Spencer Rattler on the release. Basically the exact same thing here, only this time he doesn't actually try to land the chop first, but rather tries to really go below the tackle's reach and then lift up the outside arm to create a shorter arc for himself, and it's going to be yet another dump off to the running back for a solid gain unfortunately. Now that Carter has threatened the edge a few times, he can transition into his patented crossface move paired with the swim to put pressure on Rattler and cause an imperfect throw to the flats. This is where he can really do damage once he's gotten tackles to open up against speed. This is another one that feels a little generous towards Carter, who once again is rushing off the defense's right side, as he starts with the bull rush against the left tackle and then tries to slide inside, gets pushed beyond the apex of his rush, and doesn't really impact the result of the play. First on flipping sides here, the right tackle is going to receive some chip help from its tight end in a reduced split out of a 2-point stance, which the rookie is able to fight through and then tries to transition into a ghost move on the right tackle, kind of flashing that inside hand as if he's gonna set up some kind of swipe move. Not sure if he peeks that out of the corner of his eye, but ultimately great job by the quarterback of bubbling around the rookie and hitting this throw out to the sideline, as Carter seems to have the angle for a sack initially. On his final clip from the Saints game, number 51 gets caught with a punch to his chest by his right tackle's outside hand, but then shows off that instant burst to erase the angle out to the sideline for Rattler, who's trying to escape the pocket. As you can see here, definitely a win by the tackle, but check out the instant burst to get out of the stalemate and force kind of an overthrow trying to lay it up for his big tight end in the end zone. Here's the only clip from the first Eagles game at home. Not 100% sure if this should have even been labeled as a pass play, as the offset tight end to the offense's left side gets tripped up on his way to either sift back for Carter, initially left unblocked, off the opposite edge, or more likely, based on how the action looks like, leak out into the flats, but the outside linebacker aims directly at the mesh point, and Jalen Hurts is elusive enough to make him fly by before getting corralled for no yardage as he keeps the ball here. Kind of the same thing here in week 7 at Denver, lining up in a slightly tilted 2-point stance outside of the right tackle, and Carter is going to once again just attack the point of the handoff for the zone action, where the tight end initially feigns stepping down before slipping out, but it happens so damn quick that Bo Nix is off balance trying to put heat behind the ball, and Evan Ingram drops it. Same spot, slightly wider alignment, this time completely unblocked and doesn't really affect the throw on this bubble screen, so that's kind of a free one in terms of how you count them up. Very tilted stance, rushing over the right tackle or outside of the tight end here initially for the rookie, and this ends up as a screen to the running back, but all I've seen this, the explosion of the ball, the flexibility to get entirely under the reach of the blocker and turn a tight corner on this dip and rip and make the quarterback feel him simply. Now the rematch with the Eagles a couple of weeks later in Philadelphia gave us a lot more to talk about with the rookie. Rare under center offset I-formation here for the Eagles, where they try to get these linebackers to step up against the straight downhill run fake, and they do get an explosive catch and run out of this, but pretty impressive power by the rookie here, pushing back 360-pound left tackle Jordan Mailata to compress the pocket and bump him into Jalen Hurts at the end here. Standing up over the left guard on this one, in more of a slow developing twist, where he initially engages with the blocker in front of him, before looping around, and I want you to pay attention to the sudden acceleration and bend here, how quickly it goes from almost being a stalemate by design to suddenly having his hips pointed at the quarterback, forcing Hurts to step up into a group sack that he doesn't get on the stat sheet for. On this next T twist, Carter is working towards the A-gap, and once again it's the lateral explosion, the flexibility to get low here, but also the force to fight through the semi-hold to flash in Hurts' face, who is helped out by Devontae Smith, creating this much space on a deep curl route that he can kind of float the ball towards him, which lesser receivers would get contested on, or maybe even step out of bounds trying to tiptoe here. Great battle on this last one, with the rookie going up against Hall of Fame right tackle Lane Johnson. He tries to work the long arm here initially, but with his eyes up on the quarterback, sees him trying to step through the B gap, flashes that way momentarily, forces Hurts to reverse course, who's going to run himself into an easy sack by Brian Burns off his blind side for a massive loss on the play. This only clip from the 49ers game is not really a win on Carter's part, as San Francisco put the fullback in motion and task him with basically chipping the rookie here from his I-formation alignment, and then float the ball over him for a screen, but watch Carter just lower the boom and plow through Kyle Juszczyk's inside shoulder. PFAC actually didn't log this as a pressure compared to NFL Pro, but it's still a nice showcase of this guy's power when he has a bit of acceleration to contact. Also only one clip at Chicago the following week. Now he's coming off the offense's left side in a wide 9 alignment, and Carter's going to cross-face with the rip move, which combined with solid push up the middle of the pocket, forces Caleb Williams' pass to be tad off and early, leading to an incompletion on 4th down. The week after that against the Packers, same side, a little tighter alignment, Carter gets a great jump off the ball, forcing Rasheed Walker to open up his hips immediately and set up this quick inside move, paired with pulling the opposite arm over to get a hit on Jordan Love, whose arm talent is on display here, still somewhat the hitting receiver spotting up over the middle of the field for a nice gain, but great win by the rookie. And this one is more so Carter getting involved late, as he's in a more reactionary mode initially against play action, transitioning into a long arm, but then that sudden shoulder dip and wipe with his inside hand to be able to flatten to the quarterback is pretty impressive to join the gang late here. We're now in week 12 at Detroit against the great Lions tackle tandem in Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell. On his first one coming out of a 3-point stance, Carter goes speed to power against the fairly conservative set by the tackle, compressing the edge before swiping down the outside hand and nearly getting involved late here as Jared Goff has no room to step up into and he gets sacked by the free technique to that side and there is Alexander. On this next one, Carter is standing up after flipping sides. Now outside of the tight end, and he doesn't actually get all the way home, but this simply is a mismatch, seeing how quickly he goes from the bull rush to a little swipe and then start turning the corner. Sewell to that side starts chasing late, trying to help push him a little bit too far up the field. Not officially a pressure, actually according to PFF by the way. This one's a rare intentional grounding penalty on the quarterback while throwing into the end zone, as the Lions are running what I call a frontside bootleg, where they bring this outside wide receiver in motion, asking him to pin the opposite D end inside while you have Carter coming off the right side. But Brian Burns is too quick for it, already has Goff in his grasp, yet when he lets go, Carter in the meantime has been able to shed the block by the left tackle, and again it's the ankle flexion to turn his path through contact without needing extra steps to hawk down the quarterback and force the penalty, also not officially part of his stats by the way. Back in the wide 9, putting his hand down, rushing off the offense's left side. It gives Carter extra momentum into contact, which the tackle to the side anticipates him going speed to power again potentially, but it actually turns into a beautiful ghost move, with that ability to drop the pads and circle around the blocker is just insane to watch, and he puts a hit on Goff. And finally, for this Detroit game, I think he's trying to work another club swim combo against the same matchup with Decker. Actually completely miss it with his hands here, as the left tackle pulls back his reach. Just a veteran move here, but Carter is still able to slither around the contact and help sandwich the quarterback to force another errant throw. We head to New England next, where the Patriots have more of a token run fake to the right here, but clearly nothing is there for the quarterback to be had. With the right tackle I guess supposed to get out in front of a running back swinging out to the right. So as May sees this, he decides to take off the opposite way, with Burns coming free, as this TT twist over the middle gets kinda shut down. Carter takes on what basically is a base block, and then slides inside by pulling his upside arm over when he sees the quarterback try to escape through the B gap. Now the Pats come in pony personnel, with 2 tailbacks flanking either side of May, and have a light run fake across the body of the quarterback, with the other back already motioning the opposite way. Carter rushing off the offense's left side, against a more traditional pass set by the tackle, sliding out of a more conservative 4-point stance, but still plenty of explosion up the field to win this chop rip move, and flatten towards the quarterback, forcing him to hitch up, and great throw getting the ball to the right spot here. Next up in the red zone, shotgun, pure drop back, Giants kinda load the front away from Carter on the left side. Now in more of a racetrack position, and this time he wins with more pure speeds into a rip move to turn the corner, speed up and get a piece of May, who flips it out to his back for no gain. Then on the ensuing 3rd and 6, he does basically the exact same thing, as you can see the Patriots bring up this running back in sort of a sniffer position so they can handle his potential 6-man rush, but Carter already off the left side, licking his chops on this one. Ball ends up a titch inside and incomplete, as the quarterback probably feels the heat around the corner, from my movie buffs. Now Carter has switched sides, again in this overfront away from him, and he beats the right tackle with pretty much the exact same move, only he initially takes a more direct path at the blocker to force him to brace against power and show his hands. I would argue he gets held here, but at least this forces the quarterback to slide away from him and into a sack by the linebacker inside of him. Week 14 the Giants were on bye, and then when he comes out of this, I feel like Carter gets this rookie bump and really starts heating up over the final month of the season, here in his first one in the rematch against Washington, who we started a video out with. First is rushing off the right edge from the offensive perspective. Another excellent fellow rookie that is going up against here in Josh Conley Jr., who I recently talked about as a breakout candidate for 2026. 3-point stance for Carter, has that runway into contact, and then works another chop rip, where he actually gets a little beyond the quarterback. But check out the mobility in his lower half to circle back around in one motion for the strip sack, which fortunately is covered up by the man that just got beat. Next, the Giants are in a 5-0 front, meaning they have all these linemen covered, with the rookie lined up shaded to the right shoulder of the center from his perspective, hits him with a little shimmy before transitioning into a club swim, reduces his surface area, and when he sees the quarterback step up the opposite way, he counters into a spin move, and then it's just great hustle to track down the scrambling signal caller. Later on a 3rd and 12, the Giants threaten with 6 up here at the line. They drop out this linebacker to the left, but actually do bring a number, with the safety Dane Belton starting to creep down. Carter's back in a track style 4-point stance outside of the right tackle. Not 100% sure why it go towards the A-gap on this T twist that they're setting up once again, with Belton green dog in the back, meaning he's a go if that guy stays in protection, and they ultimately end up going through the same gap, as they combine to twist on Marcus Mariota. When the rookie actually doesn't get credit on the stat sheet at all for it, Burns scoops it up and sets up his offense in scoring range already. Week 16 against the Vikings, this first clip is kind of messy, as Minnesota's going to bring jet motion to the left, have the bank flank that way, in shotgun, opt the opposite way at the snap. They're going to pull the right guard, with the left side of the O-line stepping down. Carter coming off that edge is able to navigate through the trash and get a hit on JJ McCarthy's backside, while the safety blitzing off the opposite side knocks the ball down. Giants back in this 5-0 front, or this time it's actually 5 defensive linemen, if you count Carter as such, who's lined up here as a free technique, or almost head up on the tackle here really, but tilted inside against the left guard. And Minnesota gets a couple of linemen out the opposite way for a running back screen, but those guys on the left are pretty much a straight up pass pro, and especially if they protect the inside. Yet check out this wicked spin move that Carter puts on this guy for the instant win, and what would otherwise lead to a sack. Instead, it's a solid gain for the Vikings. This one I'll actually count as a 0 for Carter, this time coming off the offense's right edge, as the Vikings set up a tunnel screen to Justin Jefferson to that side on the 3rd and long. Carter shoots upfield from his 4-point stance, has a chance to actually bat the ball down potentially as he realizes the tackle bluffs before releasing. More traditional even front for the G-man here, shifted towards the tight end on the defense's left side here, where they also have Carter, who's going to put some heat on McCarthy, again having more space, getting into this interaction with the right tackle, where this time he's going to jab inside to soften the outside shoulder for himself, and then cleared with the rip move to help make the quarterback feel that rush. Back in the mucked up look for New York here, with a safety and the linebacker down here. Relentless energy by Carter on this one, rushing from this really wide alignment outside of the tight ends in his 2-point stance. And that guy's gonna get a solid chip on him, to be honest. But ultimately gets past him with kind of a dip and rip, in danger of ending in a stalemate with the tackle waiting for him here, but he really tries to free himself and chase down the quarterback spinning towards the blind side. And again, the rookie isn't the one to clean up the sack, even though he joins in on it. Here the Giants initially present this wide 4 front, but Carter's going to walk down late here into the quarterback's cadence, looking like Myles Garrett on this crossover-like move, where he ends up to the right shoulder of that guy with a club and dip. The guard is enabled to help out just enough as New York peels off the D-end the opposite way, but they actually push him into the legs of the new quarterback Max Brosmer, who was able to flip the ball out but still get the hit on here. Same setup, and now check out what Carter does to the center on this one, as he's going to act like he's slicing through one shoulder, only to hit that spin move the opposite direction, and this time he gets the sack himself. Just a nightmare for anyone on interior, especially if given a 2-way go. Bringing us to week 17 at Las Vegas, Raiders come out in a bunch set to the defense's left side, Carter line up on the opposite edge, yet they bring on the safety late and slant the rookie inside. He gets caught up with the guard here initially, but again able to still get low and compress the pocket a little bit more. Not a big time clip for him. But then a couple of drives later on 3rd down, Carter's in the 2-point stance, once again rushing over the left tackle in a 1-on-1, where he stutters and then jumps inside with a club swim combo to force Geno Smith to retreat. Still hits this, but what I'm impressed with here is for a guy around 250 pounds, he doesn't get pushed off track here when the tackle steps down with his post foot to take away the direct path to the quarterback. Another 3rd down next, where the Giants bring down the linebacker late to rush free off the offense's left side, with Carter 1-on-1 against the right tackle the opposite way. He kind of baits the hand of the outside opponent by taking a more direct path, only to set up this chop rip, where again his ankle flexion to circle around after forcing Geno to hitch up into the pocket, allows him to combine for a sack with Brian Burns. Second half on a more base first down, where the Raiders are faking a fly sweep by a slot receiver off the left side, and the blocking was pretty much a mess all year, but Carter does a great job of identifying this full line slide to support the fake, and backdoors the right tackle here to quickly flash in the quarterback's face, who was able to just drop it off to the receiver setting on the flats that way. 5-0 front once more, and again slightly shifted to the offense's left side. And I don't think Carter actually affects the quarterback here, but another nice showcase of his bend and strength to turn the corner for contact off the offense's right side here. Next, in the red zone, the Giants bring down this linebacker late off the right side, which leaves the rookie unblocked, as he's too explosive for this chip by the running back to affect him altogether. Kind of a freebie, but the closing burst to get this hit on Geno and mess up his pace anyway is impressive, while someone else bats down the pass at the line. And then on fourth down next, it's straight up pass pro with the left tackle locked up one-on-one and the rest of the O-line sliding the opposite way. So theoretically, this right guard should be able to help here, as he provides a help hand on the man inside of him initially, but the cat-like quicks for Carter on his up and under against the tackle, and how he pins the opposite arm against the backside of the guard, as you can see here, makes it almost impossible for anyone to slow him down. Geno does a great job of extending the play and finding his receiver for a touchdown, but I would argue Carter actually gets held here. And then onto the fourth quarter, wide front with the rookie rushing over the right tackle, where he initially attacks up the field, then flattens at the top of his rush with the dip and rip and lands a hit on the quarterback, which leads to the go ball landing inside. And finally, same look, this time the running back lands a chip to the outside before checking over the ball. And you see the mental growth to some degree here, as Carter uses this to transition into a spin move inside. He can't quite land that, but enough to flush the quarterback, who he chases out into the linebacker, forcing the guy to step out of bounds. Last week of the season against the Cowboys, meaningless for both sides on paper, but Dallas brought out all of the starters for the first half at least. 3 down front here as we look at it first, before walking down Carter and Burns over either guard. They peel someone off the right edge and have a twist with Carter and the nose tackle, which they push up into the lap of Dak Prescott, who's able to pin it onto someone curling up over the middle. 4th and short next, inside the Giants' 5-yard line. Carter lined up outside the right tackle in an overfront the opposite way. Yet again, the rookie beats Terrence Steele on another up and under move, the right guard being alerted by the linebacker behind it actually threatening here first, but Carter still able to split through those, enough to flush the quarterback into someone on the inside working wide. Cowboys did bring in a few subs for the second half, but still have the starter Steele at right tackle, who the rookie beats cleanly once more with straight juice off the ball, and then a chop of the outside wrist to finish here and force the check down. The exact same thing as on the very first play that I showed from this game, with Burns and Carter initially off the ball, but walking down over the outside shoulder of either guard, and Carter once more is involved in this interior twist with the nose tackle. He's able to power through the center's opposite shoulder, peeling off for him, and puts Joe Milton on his backside, leaving the ball to land out of bounds. Back in an even front, this time shifted towards Carter off the defense's left side, almost head up over the tight end on this one. Not quite sure what Dallas is trying to accomplish here, as they fake the quick toss that way and have the opposite guard pull over towards Carter, but the rookie is able to dip around it, force Milton off the spot, and to lose his wherewithal as he throws the ball right at the numbers of Bobby Okereke, getting out as a hook dropper here for an easy pick. Last clip now, here Carter is in the same spot, now outside of the tight ends in this tilted 2-point stance, where he hits Steele with a nasty spin move. As that guy throws a strike, quarterback is able to go up and outside to avoid the sack here, but an easy win for the rookie, who ultimately forces a throwaway. To summarize this, Carter clearly has room upwards as a finisher, and will ultimately be judged by the amount of negative plays he produces, so sacks plus other tackles for loss. He can still become stronger, develop more reliable hand counters, and really weaponize the athletic gifts he flashes throughout his tape. Having said that, it's undeniable that he's working with some special tools, looking at the bend and overall looseness of his lower half to go underneath blockers, access new rush angles, and still create pressure even if his hand combats don't fully land. His power around 250 pounds does jump out on a handful of occasions, and as he tries to master the art of converting speed, that could make him a deadly pass rusher since he already threatens opponents so much laterally with his quicks. Now, I will acknowledge here that he's still refining his block deconstruction skills and has to become a more reliable tackler in order to become a quality run defender, as he set out some early downs and officially only started 6 of 17 games as a rookie. Packers superstar edge Micah Parsons, who often was used as a comp, with them both coming from Penn State, took a similar path to the pros, only Carter actually began his transition to primarily lining up on the ball in his final season in college already. So while the latter is yet to prove he can reach those heights and perennially be part of the Defensive Player of the Year discussions, I feel pretty strongly about there being a path for him to make that type of impact if the rest of New York's defense can come together. So the Giants may have decided to trade all-pro nose tackle Dexter Lawrence, but they might have another blue chip defender on the hands, and he won't even turn 23 years old until a month into his sophomore campaign.